Program on the call for Game 4, then on the call in the Eastern Conference Final, all the way to the NBA Finals and legs. That's a place we very well could see the New York Knicks appear in. But first, they got to complete the sweep against Philly. How do they get it done?
Well, look, their defense has been incredible. And this is what championship defense looks like. You take a look at a team that's won 6 straight games. 5 of those, they've held their opponent under 100 points. The lowest points per game given up in the postseason. And to me, that's what's been different about this team. It's the consistent physicality with which they have played across the board. It's not just the bigs, it's everywhere. And it's really made life miserable for these elite scoring wings that they've seen in these 2 series. So for me, that's what has stood out more than anything. And if they want to finish the deal and complete the sweep against a Philly team, even without OG Anunoby, if he doesn't play today, that to me is where they're going to hang their hat, because shot making comes and goes in the postseason. We know that. Defense can be consistent, and it certainly has been for the Knicks.
All right, if the Sixers are going to extend this series, the shot making needs to show up in a big way. What is the formula for the Sixers to win Game 4 and push this to a 5th game?
Yeah, look, when you really break down the series, Game 1, they were coming off the 7-game series with Boston, and they got blown out in New York. You kind of almost saw that coming. When you take a look at Game 2, they were in position to win. 1-possession game, 4 minutes to go in Madison Square Garden, and their offense completely dries up in the fourth quarter, and certainly right there down the stretch. Same thing happened the other night in their first game in Philly in this series. They're in position mid-third quarter. They're right there, and then the offense completely abandons them. And I think for me, it's Tyrese Maxey. When you take a look at his field goal attempts per game in this series relative to what he did in the regular season, significantly down. It starts with him, but you're going to need Paul George as well, maybe even the rookie VJ Edgecombe to step up. I think their perimeter players have got to make shots if they get into a situation where this is a winnable game in the fourth quarter. The Knicks are trying to end this. They don't want to extend it. They want to get as much rest as they can. If the Philadelphia 76ers want to extend this, get back to Madison Square Garden, get yourself in position, and then have your best offensive player step up and make difficult shots when the situation requires it. They haven't had that in this series.
We are going to get our answer. Who shows up? Game 4, afternoon delight, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Tim Legler joining the program this morning on SE. Thanks, Legs.
3-0 in the series.
Well, after Game 3, I asked Mike Brown, because he's been around so many iterations of championship teams, does this team have championship poise when you consider all the things that they've done post Game 3 against Atlanta in the first round? They've gone undefeated, and the numbers have been great. And he said, you know what? You're starting to see the things little by little. He said when he first took the job, he thought maybe we'll have a chance. And then he said now that he's seen the regular season, the playoffs, the way that this team has grown, he knows they have a chance. He looks at it and says we have to take it one game at a time. But when you look at the fourth quarters of the last 2 games against Philadelphia, they've held them to 30 points total and 28% from the field. That is enormous defense, not just by Mitchell Robinson, but also by Mikal Bridges, who did a lot of good work in Game 3, especially in the absence of OG Anunoby. If they win Game 4 today, they'll have a lot of rest upcoming before the Eastern Conference Finals, because that Pistons and Cavs series could go long.
And that's the thing. You want to keep the main thing offensively. That's Jalen Brunson. He scored 25 or more in 7 straight playoff games against the Sixers. You don't want to get lost, in the ancillary stuff, the cranberry sauce. You know what I mean? He's Vince Goodwill with the very latest for us on SportsCenter. Thank you, Vince.
I see what you did there.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, but sometimes those sides help bring the main thing together. Quentin Richardson here to chop it up some more. When you look at the first 3 games of this series, Q, why haven't the Sixers been able to break through against New York?
I feel like absolutely, because Jalen Brunson has been a stud from start to finish in this series. He started this series off hot. They have not had an answer for him. I thought they would have defended him better with some of the athleticism they have on the perimeter, but they have not had an answer for him. And then he's had support, whether it was Cat, whether it's been Mikal, whether it was OG before getting hurt. And I feel like Mike Brown switching to the style of play where they have Cat Anthony Towns being more of a facilitator and playing more through him, it gives Jalen Brunson more leeway to move and be free without the ball and get easier shots.
To the Western Conference, Wemby and the Spurs looking to take a 3-1 series lead tonight against the Timberwolves. What's the QR code for Minnesota to even up this series?
Ant-Man. The superstar got to show up. He's got to be who they need him to be, and he has been. To his credit, he's battled through the knee injuries. He's came back. He showed up, and he's gotten better and looked better each game. And I feel like last game was his best game. He went back to the starting lineup. They need more of that, but they're going to need help for him. They need Julius Randle to have a big game. They need McDaniels to have a big game. And then they could use a great defensive effort from Rudy, because he's been super solid going well against Joker in the first series, and now he's played good against against Wemby. But they need a big defensive effort and a total team effort to get this done.
Ant is the main, but you need those sides to step up. He went for over 30 in game 3, but nobody else went for over 17. That's QR keeping the main thing. The main thing. He's the turkey. He's the ham on this Thanksgiving plate. You know what I'm saying? Thanks, Q. So now the Lakers are 1 game away from his tee times being readily available. The Thunder taking a commanding 3-0 series lead as Quentin Richardson joins the program this morning. Q, fantastic to see you. The Lakers led game 3 at halftime, but were outscored in the second half by 25 points. What was the biggest difference in your eyes?
For me, in that second half, I mean, like you said, they were up by 1 at halftime. That second half, they came out flat. That was a chance where you had to come out third quarter, guns blazing, and trying to put everything you got into it. They weren't able to do that. They immediately came out, and the Thunder went to work. The defense stepped up, the energy stepped up from them, and then they just continued to widen that gap to where it got to in that second half. But they didn't have anything for them. I felt like they kind of emptied the tank in the first half. And the second half, when they sputtered a little bit, the OKC Thunder did not miss a step, and they took advantage and widened that gap in the lead for them.
I give J.J. Redick a ton of credit. He's trying different lineups. He is throwing the kitchen sink at the Thunder, and he says he still thinks his team can beat the Thunder. Are you buying what he's selling, Q?
No, I am not. Listen, J.J. Redick is a former teammate of mine. I love J.J. to death. And I mean, what is he supposed to say as the head coach? He's saying what he's supposed to say. But when you look at the season, they played them 4 times, and the Thunder won on an average of 29 points. Now you come to the playoffs, they're down 3-0 by losing almost by 19 points per game. So to me, coming into this thing, there was no chance, but you be respectful. You know they have LeBron James, and there's still a full team over there, so you still have to give them respect. But I did not think the Lakers had a true opportunity to beat the Thunder in this series. Game
4 tomorrow night in L.A. Meanwhile, in the East, the Cavs got a game over the Pistons in Game 3 behind 35 from Donovan Mitchell. Cade Cunningham, his second career postseason triple-double, but Q, he also had 8 turnovers. What did you see from Cade, especially late in the game?
Cade was big time, like you said, having a 20-plus point triple-double, and he was everything the team needed him to be for the most of the game, all the way down the stretch. But when it got to that fourth quarter, he had, like you said, those 3 turnovers in a row were critical. 2 were like from out of bounds, and 1 was in play. And it was like, to me, I felt like he was kind of, at that point, he had played and carried so much of the load. I felt like it was a fatigue deal. It was just kind of careless. You know what I'm saying? Both of the inbound turnovers were extremely careless and not characteristic of what Cade Cunningham normally does. And I had to chalk it up to him just being kind of mentally fatigued and just let a play go by.
Yeah, Max Strus said of that first turnover that actually gave the Cavaliers the lead, he counted to his head to 3, jumped, had it, and that was sort of what changed things around. Game 4 tomorrow night in Cleveland. Q Rich joining us this morning on SportsCenter. Q, much appreciated.
Yes, sir.